I'm Iron Man.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Star Fury coming at you with another new mod devlog. We are here to look at Stark Tech Unlimited. Please pardon these in the background. I forgot to do any kind of setup, and those are from the last video. But anyways, there have been a lot of changes regarding Stark Tech, including, well, mostly visual ones. Complete armor remodel, complete heads-up display redesign, and a lot of new functionality, so let's not waste any time and get right into it. So to start, this here is the new Creative tab for Stark Tech. As you can see, I added some ores, some uh, other tech bullshit, and yeah, we are well on the way to survival compatibility, so let's start. So to start us off, we have two new ores, palladium and titanium. Palladium here is extremely rare, about as rare as, I want to say it's a little rarer than diamond. I'll have to check why I said that too. But this is used to make palladium ingots. And these palladium ingots can craft it into a block, and this block is how you make the palladium core. So you use one palladium block, 4 diamonds, 4 Stark Tech, which are crafted like this. And this Stark Tech is pretty much the basis of the entire mod. But with this palladium core, you can turn that into the palladium arc reactor. With this recipe right here, and this is titanium. And then this arc reactor is how you make the undersuit, which is then used to make the actual armor. This will, of course, be changed to be a more modular system so that I can add in all of the other armors as well. This first release, I want to have at least up to the Mark 5, Mark 1 through 5. So this armor that we have right here is the Mark 4. Now onto titanium. This is pretty much the replacement of iron ingots in this mod. It's used in almost every single recipe. I should probably get into this. This is the badassium core, which is how you make the upgraded arc reactor that we see in Iron Man 2. I'll put an image of that up on the screen. But yes, this is how we make the badassium arc reactor. Because how I eventually want this system to work is I want the player to have to actually embed the arc reactor into their chest in order to use the early suits. And having the palladium arc reactor, while it is cheaper, will also slowly drain away your max life with palladium poisoning. So, and using the suits will accelerate that process. So using the palladium arc reactor will slowly kill you until you are able to make the badassium one. Just like what happened to Tony Stark. And yeah, that wasn't a fun time for him, and it won't be a fun time for you. Alright, so those were the ores. Now let's get on to the fun part, the actual suits. Alright, so to start off, we have two variations of the suit right now currently. There's the Under Armor and then the actual armor. I'll start off with reviewing the Under Armor so you can kind of get a hint of what's to come. Alright, so this is the Under Armor. It's the same texture as the last video. I haven't worked on this at all. It was pretty much already usable as it was. But, as you can see, there's a bit more to it now. We have repulsors. To activate your weapons, you hold R by default, and then you punch to fire them. Now, the Under Armor only has the repulsor. There's no other weapons to it. But this Under Armor can also fly. It's the same flight system as last time. And that's pretty much all there is to it. This will receive a remodel sometime in the future. I'm going to remake this as a 3D model instead of just a flat armor texture. But if we take this off, once I put this on, you're already going to see some of the new visual changes. First of all, big one, emissive textures. Finally figured those out. And you can see that there's a couple new elements on the heads-up display. Those being in the bottom left and bottom right. The bottom left is your armor power. almost every single function of the armor requires power. And then on the bottom right is your selected weapon. So I'll start off with the weapons. Again, hold R, and you'll see a little crosshair pop up. Then punch to fire your weapon. And these weapons require power, as you can see. The repulsor drains 2%. And then we press G, and we can switch to rockets. And these require 5%. And also have a much longer cooldown. I haven't added a cooldown indicator yet. I'm planning on that. Just haven't figured out what to do yet. And then there is a planned third weapon, which is the laser. Have not implemented this one yet. But on top of that, we can again press X to raise and lower the mask. And you can see we now have a little cutscene that plays. I call it a cutscene, but it's really not. But as you can see, it now takes a moment for your mask to sort of turn on after you close the helmet. Just like that. And while we're flying, as you can see, we will constantly be draining power. And if you press your ascend key while flying, you'll go supersonic. And this will drain a lot more power, but as you can see, you travel a lot faster. Another thing I should mention is that while you are boost flying, you cannot use any of your weapons. You can only do those while you're just hovering. So you can't just, run and gun people, fire and fly away. You have to be able to sit, aim, and shoot. So don't even think about it. And if I go ahead and run out of power here, you'll see that once you're below 10%, you'll get a critical power warning. And if I keep draining it, there, as you can see, your armor completely turns off and you cannot do any functions on it whatsoever. Oh. Well, I guess I could toggle flight. Well, this is why testing helps. Now I know that I gotta fix that. So, yeah. How it's supposed to work is that once you run out of power, all your armor functions will turn off and you'll have to wait a little amount of time for your armor to recharge. And different armors will recharge at different rates. For example, the Mark 17 that will recharge at a very slow rate because that consumes a lot of power. So you'll have to be extremely careful with how much you use. But for now, in the Mark 4, it's just a casual rate. As you can see, whenever you're not flying or just standing idle, your power will slowly recharge. And you can do all your typical functions with the suit again. Also, there's a bit more functionality to things now. For example, didn't mean to press that. If I press C, I can turn on night vision. And as you can see, I've replaced the little icon indicators with just short little text things right there on the right side. Next up, we have scanning. Now, this does a couple different things. First things first, it will give you the registry name of any block that you are looking at. So as I'm looking at grass, it'll say grass. If I come over to the tree, it'll show that I'm looking at an oak log and oak leaves. But if we look at an entity like this sheep over here, I'll then be able to see all the different stats of that entity. For example, its name, its registry name, its health, and its armor value. So that way you can kind of quickly analyze entities and kind of get an idea of what you're going up against. On top of that, we have environment scanners. Now these give you the world time, your real world time, as well as the weather conditions. So as you can see, it's currently at a world time of 1000. It is 10:52 for me right now. and the weather is clear. But if I were to set the weather to be rainy, you can then say that the weather is raining. So that's just kind of a quick way to tell the nature of your current environment. For example, if you're like underground or whatever. I do want to eventually have it detect whether it's night or day and be able to tell you that. I tried that before. It was a little finicky. But, yeah. So it's basically just info or about your surroundings. And that is pretty much everything that is currently implemented. As I said, there is a lot more to come. Oh, right. I forgot to mention, there is going to be a progression system in this. So if you look at your advancements, you can see that you're going to have to progress linearly through the marks. So for example, once I add them in, if I want to make the Mark 4, I'll have to have already made the Mark 3. And if I want to make the Mark 3, I'll have to have made the Mark 2, and so on. You'll have to progress linearly through the suits, so you can't just shoot straight to the nanotech suit or whatever. Uh, it also gives you a reason to keep building suits. You can't just make the best one right off the bat. You have to work your way through them. That's going to be how the sort of progression system of this mod will work. And that's pretty much the mod so far. So join the Discord if you want to see updates and the future of this mod. And I will continue to post devlogs whenever I can. Not just about this mod, but also all the other mods that I'm currently working on. Those would be a Superman mod. That sounds fun, yeah. I'm going to be doing more work on Springcraft here in a minute. And I'm also beginning work of a Flash mod, like I mentioned in the last video. And also, there's going to be a super fun one, which is the My Hero Academia mod, currently in production. That one's going to take a lot of work, but enough about that. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this little devlog and update on the status of the mod. There will be more in the future, like I said, so subscribe, leave a like, and let me know what you think. I will be happy to take any feedback on my mods or any other aspects, such as my videos. And that is all. Goodbye.